CIA is also created by the Ivy League. It's all there was, all kinds of. I was also invited to Her Majesty's Atomic Energy Research Establishment in the '60s. I was at the Max Planck Institute with Werner Heisenberg for a month in '66, the summer '66. So that's why the CIA, because number one, Ivy League. Back then when it meant something, now it's I was funded by the military through college. I didn't have they paid for everything. I was part of an army project as a kid, and there's a guy Bruce Vogel who has information on that. So the point is, from childhood, I was being groomed. And I think I met Colonel Corso when I was like 10 years old. I met Colonel Corso to talk about flying saucers. That's in the book. Get the book, The Great Race by David Gladstone. And there's another book called Destiny Matrix, where I have a lot of details, but I'm upgrading it. It's from 20 years ago. Don't wait till another year from now. There'll be a new version of it. But in the meantime, get the book. Just download the Kindle of Gladstone, and a lot of stuff I'm telling you now, you'll see more about it in that book, what the connections are. So that's why the CIA, and also that's why I never really had to sign any non-disclosure things. See, so like James, I have a license, like James Bond had a license to kill. They gave me a license to be totally crazy, do whatever the hell I want, not be confined by all the stupid regulations. They took a bet. They made a bet, and the bet has paid off. It's being paid off right now in spades on steroids. I mean, everything they wanted, mission accomplished, which is now the mopping up stage.
Hey, Jack.
So why aren't we all part of a secret Manhattan project? Why like?
Well, right now, I mean, the Russia. I was invited to Moscow in last July. I didn't go.
Jack, why the hell are they inviting Jeremy Corbell back on Joe Rogan for the?
Because it's stupid. Because a lot of stupid. Because everybody's so stupid. Oh, did you see Tucker Carlson the other night?
Hey, Jack, can you talk about
Bob Lazar and
can you talk about Bell's inequality and how Einstein was
no, you want Bell's? Just read how the hippies say physics. That's old stuff already.
I know, but it's still not understood by most physicists that.
No, it's understood. It's understood.
Quantum field theory is disproven by Bell's inequality.
That's not true. No, you don't understand what.
Okay, but that's Professor Jean Brimon's whole career is based on.
Professor who?
Jean Brimon.
Who the hell is he? Who's Jean Brimon?
He's an expert on De Broglie. He's an expert on De Broglie.
Okay, yeah. Well, okay. De Broglie. Yeah, some of those guys are a little bit crackpotty. Okay.
He's not a crackpot.
Well, he may be. I don't know.
His whole point is that quantum field theory is disproven by Bell's inequality. If you have the wrong foundation, okay.
Well, okay.
That's why I'm asking you, because I just want to get it on record.
Okay, I would have to read his paper to see what he's saying. Number one,
I will post it in the link.
Yeah, but I may not have time because it's not important.
Yeah, you got time. Come on.
No, I don't have time. I don't have that.
Oh, you got 2 weeks. What are you doing 2 weeks? You're going to London.
Yeah, I have all next week. I have medical. I have to do medical blood tests, this and that. All right. Yeah, I'm 84 years old. Not like you young assholes. So all right. So the thing is this. There is no contradiction between Bell's theorem and quantum field theory. Now, quantum field theory may be okay. I'd have to read his paper because you may not be describing exactly what he means.
I've corresponded with him.
All right, well, send me the correspondence. Send me get my email.
There's the paper link.
Send me the email. Is he in Paris? Where is it? This guy?
I don't know. France is a small place, isn't it? I don't know.
No, it's not that small. Find out where he is. Tell. Are you in touch with him?
There you go. I'm not. I've corresponded with him several times. That's the name of the paper.
Okay,
that's
but
the link of the paper.
Do me a favor, and Jeremy, just send it. You have my email. Just jacksarfatti@gmail.com.
I have your. We've emailed. That, right?
Just send me, because I can't. I won't remember if you on this chat thing. Just send me the email.
I just want everybody else to see it because
All right. Okay.
Because you said you don't have time, but
well,
Post it in the
I'll
private
see.
chat
I'll
here.
see. What? Tell the guy.
I wish you the best of health, by the way.
Yeah, all right. Tell the guy. Tell this Frenchman that I'm going to be in London, and then I'm going to be in Italy. So if he has something,
he's all on you. You know, he was just at NYU and he did a presentation for Tim Maudlin. You know who Tim Maudlin is, don't you?
Yeah. Okay, so he's not a crackpot. All right, I'll have to read what he says.
Okay.
All right. Now listen. However, let me just say something here.
Yeah.
Within orthodox quantum theory and within orthodox quantum field theory, without the de Broglie-Bohm interpretation, the Copenhagen interpretation, in that picture, there's no contradiction between Bell's theorem and that kind of quantum field theory. But if this professor is saying that orthodox quantum field theory is an incomplete theory, like what Einstein was saying, and there's a more complete theory, then
the de Broglie-Bohm is the complete theory.
That's my theory. Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a more complete theory based on the Bohm, de Broglie-Bohm picture, in which it goes beyond the conventional stuff. But it doesn't. But wait, Bell's theorem still holds. But the point is, it has to do. You really want to know what it has to do with?
Yeah.
I have to get some water. What happened?
Yeah, get some water.
I need some water here.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. I had to chew his cut on this one.
By the way, we were just talking about emails. Jack, what did you first think about Danny when I first linked you up with Danny Jones of the Concrete podcast? There,
he's a smart kid. You know, he only had 6 months of college. He's he's obviously a smart kid, but he didn't know who Cary Grant was. He didn't know who
Cary Grant.
He didn't know who Gary Cooper was. I think he sort of knew. And these dudes, right? Yeah. So these, but there's 100 and the last I heard, about 10 hours ago, there was like 65,000 views on the YouTube episode 1. Okay, and there's 50,000 on Spotify. So it's 115,000. I don't know what it is at the moment. And he's posting the second part on Monday. All right, but let me quickly, Bell's theorem. Look.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Nobel Prize of late.
Yes, and those Alan Aspect visited me in San Francisco in 1980. In 81.
Well, and Herbert Bernstein worked with Alan Aspect. They collaborated.
Yeah, okay.
They published together.
Okay, listen. Let me tell you Bell's theorem. What Bell's theorem says is that if you believe that signals only propagate from the past to the present, okay, if you believe that, then quantum mechanics, and if you believe that there are only causes, if you believe that there are only what are called retarded causes, that a causal influence is limited to the speed of light, it can be slower than the speed of light or at the speed of light, and only propagates along what's called the future light cone in relativity theory, then the statistical predictions of quantum mechanics, this is Bell's theorem, then the statistical predictions of orthodox quantum mechanics without Bohm, just Copenhagen, just without Bohm with de Broglie, violate. Then there's an inconsistency. And now the way out of it is not fast and light. The way out of it is what
retrocausality.
Just listen to me now.
I will.
Costa de Beauregard, who worked with de Broglie.
I read his book.
Okay, Costa de Beauregard, what the zigzag.
Yep.
That you have the future. You have to have causes coming from the future.
And he was the first one to recommend the delayed choice eraser experiment.
Yes, I want to show you how stupid I was when I was your age. I was a dumb schmuck just like you. Listen to this. I was in Paris.
I'm down with that.
Paris. I was in Paris in the 60s. When I listen to this, I was in Paris.
Yep.
I was at the Institut Henri Poincaré with these guys, with the with Costa de Beauregard, and Costa de Beauregard is telling me this.
Right.
Well, like a stupid idiot, didn't get it. I could have gotten this on saved 40 years of work. That was it.
Well,
it must have been in my my subconscious. He was telling me all this stuff.
Yeah.
But he was a little bit eccentric. He was also investigating cockroaches and paranormal. He was a little bit crazy too. Like,
oh, you mean Louis Caravan? Yeah, he was into Louis Caravan too. And
yeah. He was like with like Brian Joseph.
Almost all of his papers talk about the paranormal.
Yes. He was really into.
Were you the one who underlined his papers for the CIA? Because the CIA classified Costa de Beauregard's papers, and all those papers emphasized the paranormal. And I've always thought it must have been you that had done that.
You know, it's possible, but it's probably Brendan O'Regan, who I was working with. It's probably Brendan. But yes, so everything Costa de Beauregard said, which I was too stupid, to really, get it.
Yeah.
Okay, everything he said is correct. Okay.
Well, okay, so
if this French guy is working from the Costa de Beauregard, it's probably okay.
Yeah, but see, I got to go back to Basil J. Hiley. All I can do is highly recommend Hiley.
I know what Hiley's doing. Hiley's doing good stuff, but Hiley, Basil has done a lot of good things. He's very smart.
But
listen, all right, I'm listening. He's too abstract. All this stuff with the Clifford algebras. I mean, I'm not saying it's wrong. It's probably right. But you know what? It's at Cornell. Let me tell you, Cornell. Einstein said, keep it as simple as possible, but not simpler than is possible. Okay?
All right.
At Cornell, Hans Bethe kept the whole Cornell physics department philosophy was minimal mathematics, maximal physics.
Can I change the subject here? What do you think of Roger Penrose's statement that gravitational entropy is the opposite of the entropy of matter?
Anything Roger says has to be taken seriously because I'm using all of Roger's stuff. I use Roger's stuff.
So what are the implications of
gravitational? I don't know, but
now
you're taking you're scatterbrained, man. I'm on a track and you're throwing me off the track.
He relies on non-commutativity.
I'm on this high bridge railway. You're throwing me back down into the abyss.
I'm just saying he relies on non-commutativity also.
You got this bug up your ass about non-commutativity. It's not important.
Okay, but it is in relation to gravitational entropy compared to the entropy of matter.
I don't know what. Okay, now this is just bullshit. This is words.
Unless you think Alain Kahn is bullshit. He has a Fields Medal.
You mean non-commutative geometry? Yeah. Okay. You know what? That may be correct in the long run at high energy. We don't need it. We don't need it for the problem at hand. This is what I'm saying. Okay. I'm like Hans. I learned from Hans Bethe. You keep it as simple as possible. Yeah. You're making what Einstein said, any intelligent fool, which you are, you're an intelligent fool, can make something more complicated.
The name calling is quaint. It's quaint. I like your name calling. I find it very quaint.
No, wait a minute. That's because all the physicists, all the great physicists use name calling. Yeah, we're all the Jews from the 1930s. That's called Jewish humor. Okay,
yeah.
All right, what is that? You're going too fast. It's too fast. Go back to the beginning. Yeah, hey, I'm not chat. I'm not an artificial intelligence. I don't operate at nanoseconds or microseconds.
It's not like you knew Pascual Gordon.
Okay, can you make that
Pascual Jordan? You didn't know Pascual
Yes, of course I know Pascual Jordan. Yeah, that's elementary quantum theory. No, you're confused. Listen,
you're confused. Know him. You didn't personally know him like you knew.
No, I know his work. But the point is, you're confusing different levels. You're muddled. I mean, you don't.
Yeah, logical order type Bertrand Russell. I get it. I get it.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Can you see what does it say? The goal of this paper is to explain, when was this done? 2017? How the views of Albert Einstein, John Bell, and others about non-locality and the conceptual quantum mechanics have been rather systematic. Yeah, well, I'm sure that's right. And by the way, see, Costa de Beauregard, okay, what you should do, if you really want to understand the Bell's theorem, go online. See, can you find Jeremy? Go to the archive, Huey Price, UW Price archive, Huey Price. I'll read this guy. It sounds, yeah, I'm sure he's going to be interested. Yeah, I can see he's a serious person. But in the KGB, they say he's a serious
What's
person.
the first name?
It's you. It's a funny name. H-U-W. H-U-W. Price. H-U-W. Okay, there we go. Can you make it bigger?
Connolly, Ken Wharton.
Yes, with Ken Morton. Yeah. Can you make it bigger? I can. It's too small to see. All these papers. Let me show you the ones to really look at. Can you make it bigger? Can you make it the font bigger? Zoom? No. Okay. Well, that's good. No. Go back to let me. Keeps going. Okay. A live alternative to quantum spooks is good. That's a good one. And what else there? Disentangling the quantum world. Those two are good. I'll be right back. I have to take a pee. Oh, yeah. Well, those papers explained everything you want of the Bell's theorem up to a point. Doesn't explain the new stuff. But this is the Costa de Beauregard. This is what Costa de Beauregard was trying to explain to me in Paris in 1966. That I was too stupid not to pay attention. I should have worked with him.
Man, as soon as you come back, can't wait to ask you about some things involving subquantum kinetics, iron, and plasma dynamics. Oh, this is going to be a good one if I can get Jack to talk about plasma dynamics. Because I know he's researched it. He's definitely looked into this stuff, and he's certainly looked into the inertial vectors. So it could be a really interesting.
Did anyone timestamp the video here? I almost want to read Danny's. All right, so this was Jack's first response to Danny. I don't have no desire to Florida. I don't need more PR. I'm not looking for money, although powerful people are banging on my door offering money. Something about he was mad that David distorted some of the truth about his history, and because David Chester was on a couple weeks before, and he wanted to come set the record straight. So I'm glad that he got on there. What is he also? He said the first one of the things he said was, oh man, he was just calling him all kinds of names and stuff, and then he called him a dumb fuck in the interview. I was like, that was hilarious, man. Danny thought it was great too. So
no, it's really hard to beat Jack's unique sense of comedy. It's so fucking hilarious, man, and it's a bit of a fresh blood for a guy who's supposedly old but doesn't act old, doesn't look old.
Listen,
it's
you look 64, not 84, man.
Not even 64.
Yeah,
hey, so what's going on with Avi Loeb? I want to know your position on him. And
I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Avi Loeb. I think he's a Mossad agent for sure.
I've heard a lot of people say that or suggest
that. I hope he finds something. I think he may be just scamming money. I don't want to say, I don't know. He's money from the billion. He doesn't. He works with Kirkpatrick, right? There's another schmuck.
Yeah. What could he be doing different that you would?
They wrote a paper together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They did. They wrote that recent. Let's bring that recent paper up.
They don't talk about. They don't mention warp drive. They consider that to be so. You know what they are. Okay, Avi Loeb, he's a smart guy, smart Jewish guy. He's Mossad, right? Smart Jewish guy. But he's an observational astronomer. He's not a theoretical physicist. He knows he can do some of the mathematics of general relativity. A lot of these guys, they can do calculations in general relativity, even compute things, but they don't understand the deep physical meaning of what they're doing. They don't understand what the role of the speed of light and stuff like that. So he doesn't understand what the guys at Lawrence Livermore finally understood, what they're testing now in their machine, hopefully. How much that machine's going to cost? Probably $100 million. 30 feet it's a big reactor.
Do you have, he wrote a paper with Kirkpatrick? I got to find that. Are they working together? What is?
Yes, they're working together. And also he has Chris Mellon. He has Michael Shermer. Michael Shermer is like an asshole. He's one supreme asshole.
Hey, if you like Michael Shermer that much, you're gonna love the interview I did with him on Dark Horse podcast on Monday.
He's a schmuck. I mean, he's what he is. Michael Shermer is
You finally
Trocani.
got to debate him, huh?
I got to debate him finally. It's going to come out on Saturday, man.
Michael Shermer would love to burn the Jews in the Spanish Inquisition. He's that mentality when it comes to the psychic stuff. The problem with Michael Shermer, if you look at his background, by the way, Michael Shermer, he was a theologian. He was a theologian student. Then his girlfriend died or something. He's crazy. I mean, the guy is crazy. And he doesn't know enough physics. So they know a certain amount. They know the kind of physics that you are taught in high school or in a community college, in a low-level college, standard stuff by second-rate, third-rate teachers who are just by rote, just giving the conventional wisdom. He was not taught by Hans Bethe or Richard Feynman or John Archibald Wheeler or Werner Heisenberg or David Bohm or Costa de Beauregard,
right. So that's the one thing too, is like people are like, oh, this guy's CIA, why should we listen to him? And it's like, well, he's got a PhD.
CIA. I was a useful idiot of the CIA.
You got a real PhD though, unlike Bob Lazar, and we can actually scrutinize what you're saying.
Yeah, well, maybe not to see it by whatever other agencies. It doesn't. It could be the DI or whatever it is. Who knows? The Army intelligence or the Air Force intelligence. It doesn't matter. They're all the same. And so okay. Well, Lazar, you want to talk about Lazar? Well, what do you want to talk about?
No, Rick. Okay,
I have a couple questions for you specifically, Jack. And these are things that I was curious about because you've worked in the past with ideas of metamaterial physics, and
I'm working with them. Yeah, I'm working with them now.
Yeah, exactly. You've worked with brilliant minds too, mathematical geniuses like David Chester, for example, and of course you yourself are a mathematical genius, and you've done so much.
Wait, let me stop. No, I'm not a mathematical genius.
Okay, I will give you credit for the thing that I think you're really good at. That's fine.
Just stop. Just let me talk.
Just a general genius.
I'm an intuitive genius, like Einstein. Einstein was not a mathematical genius. I mean, I applied. I'm not a good mathematician. Neither was Einstein, but I have physical instincts.
All right, I'll respect the proper definition because we do want to be right here. But I was very, very curious about, in your past experience, having worked with a lot of different possibilities in your mind, especially in that mental space, considering the variability of different elements being used in these metamaterial structures. It wasn't just about the geometry, but it was also about the physical materials used elementally.
Well, okay. Now let me say something. I'm not an expert in that. I just have a general, I'm not an expert in that. That's
okay. I'm not either.
Jeremy and Michael Peroni probably know more about that than I do. But once they come up with an idea, I can kind of look at it and kind of see how it fits with the basic.
Yeah, let me get to the question though here. So I'm just giving a prefix so we're all on the same page. Now, we've noticed a tremendous amount of parallels in over 14 different cases associated with extremely high electrical currents passing through iron. Where normally we would be looking at iron as a lossy conductor, we're noticing that there seems to be almost a metamaterial-like effect in iron, where in the nuclear magnetic moment and the ferromagnetic response as a bulk material seems to be actually stressing our local momentum tensor. And it's almost as if we were getting a phase delay in the epsilon and mu of that local propagation. And it looks like, to us at least, a warp drive effect. So I'm curious, have you heard any relation with iron and these?
Wait. Why do you say a warp drive effect? How? In what way?
Why a delay of a laser beam through a controlled cavity.
Oh, the laser beam is bending?
Not bent. Well, I guess you could say it's bending from the Einsteinian view, but I would just simply say slowing down.
The laser beam. Oh, the laser beam.
We have a laser interferometer setup that we test these things on, and we see a variety of fringes. I've got up to 25 fringes with an electrostatic system.
Okay.
That it's a phase delay from the two sides, and it seems to be on the slower
delay,
side.
But, so you think the phase delay is coming because the speed of light itself has changed? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I couldn't say for sure if the speed of light is changing, but as far as an interferometer's purpose, it does appear to be that case.
Okay, I see. I'd have to see the detailed picture of what the total experimental arrangement is, to see. Do you have magnetic fields there?
Yes, very strong magnetic fields and also a very strong electric field, and they are parallel with each other. So our B flux, or technically this is an H flux because we have to take together the whole phase conjugation of the entire iron mass, and then we also have to stack it on top of epsilon.
Okay, wait, I can't follow that. It's too complicated. I'd have to see. You have to go. It would take an hour for me to understand what you're talking about.
Well, let's just jump to the last question I have, which is something I've been wanting to ask you too, about plasma. So have you seen any kind of extra curl, any kind of extra divergence around a system surrounded by a cold active plasma? Or have you theorized at all about the purpose and usefulness of a cold active plasma for warp field dynamics?
No, I don't say. Well, no, but that's. You should talk to Michael Anderson. That's his thing. But it's a hot plasma.
I'll write that down. Thank you.
That's Michael there have been. Oh no, here's the thing. People report plasmas around flying saucers, right?
Right.
That's just the anti-gravity blue shift is creating plasma. See, that's the first step. It ionizes the. That's the photons.
So you're saying the plasma is a side effect?
Is a side effect of anti-gravity warp field. Yeah.
Oh, that changes kind of a lot of things, actually. That makes us reconsider.
See, that's elementary physics. That's elementary general relativity.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for the answer. That's awesome.
Because we were having a discussion today, and I had a guy trying to tell me that it was, he said it's the heavier leptons, so it's like muons and tauons that you need
okay, that guy is stupid. Forget him. Just forget it. He doesn't know. He doesn't know shit.
You know,
he's stupid.
So you get the plasma going and make the extra generations of matter. It's about the heavier generations.
Stupid. Whoever told you that is an idiot. It's a nutcase. Throw him out.
Yeah.
Walk the plank.
Why are there no right-handed neutrinos?
If they're on a starship, I'm putting them in the airlock and I'm ejecting them into space without a spacesuit.
Yeah, and this one isn't for you, Jack, but for people who wanted to research plasma, take a look at the Frank Aquino.
That's the guy who'll tell you that the Earth is hollow and it's flat, and we've never been to the moon. Yeah,
right. Why are there no right-handed neutrinos?
I mean, that's the problem. The problem. Tucker Carlson. You got to watch Tucker Carlson on Twitter, on X.
What do you think of abrupt global warming, Jack? What's going to solve that?
First of all, that's stupid too.
Okay. Why is it stupid?
Let me tell you something.
You realize the Nobel Prize was given to a global warming scientist recently?
Well, I don't care. They're a bunch of idiots also.
Okay. Now tell us why.
I mean, they weren't the same ones who gave it from the physics thing. Okay, look. Wait a minute. John Clauser got a Nobel Prize, and he says what I say. He just got the Nobel Prize for Bell's theorem, right? John Clauser. Freeman Dyson also says, here's the
global
thing.
Warming.
First of all, there is no global warming. There are extreme. Okay, there's climate change. Climate change, from the beginning of the Earth, the climate changes mainly due to the sun. Okay, now I'm all for having clean air and clean oceans. Of course, we got to live it. All that. First of all, we got too many people. Even though,
but you know that Joseph Fourier in 1824 published that dark heat was warming the planet due to human industry.
Okay,
he called it dark heat, but that was infrared radiation.
Okay, but now you have guys. You have guys like Ron Bindolfi. Ron Bindolfi is a CIA agent officer, but he's a PhD in physical chemistry from UCLA, and he says putting CO2 into the atmosphere is good because the plants get greener. They take in the CO2.
That depends on what kind of carbon photosynthesis they use. It's proven that it doesn't improve if it's like corn or any kind of grass. Increase in CO2 is not going to help.
Now with genetic engineering, we could probably make artificial plants to capture it, right, and make oxygen. See, that's one thing we can do. That's a good thing to do. But let me
genetic engineering's been really
Let me
good.
get to the point. Let me get to the point. You're not letting me get to the key issue. The key issue is this. Let's suppose some of this heating or some of the changes are due to man. Let's suppose that. Okay, let's grant that for the sake of argument. All this Green New Deal stuff, all what they're trying to do, getting rid of fossil
now you're talking about policies. I want to talk about science, the science of global warming.
But everything that they're trying to do to take away our freedom and destroy the.
I'm not talking about policy.
But let me finish.
Freedom, Green New Deal. That's all policy.
You're making noise now. Let me finish, and then you can say what you want to say.
I talked to Al Gore personally for half an hour.
Al Gore's a shithead. Al Gore's a shithead.
There you go. That's policy. I could talk policy all you want. I have a degree in international relations.
Al Gore's a shithead. But in any
Yeah,
case,
you want to talk
he's
policy?
a Democrat, right?
Well, I'm not a climate modeling expert. I have some friends that are, though. If we want to get into this on another
Okay, but wait,
conversation.
I was not able to make the point. None of you are understanding what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, let Jack finish. I want to hear
Let
it.
Jack finish, and then let's
Goddamn
move on to a different
sentence,
topic.
right?
Yeah, Green New Deal, Green New Deal, freedom, Green New Deal.
No, go, Jack. Go.
Finished?
Yep.
Can I talk?
Yep.
Right. The point is, all these things, the so-called fixes, are not going to work. They have the opposite effect. So what's going on? First of all, China and Russia and India and South America, they sell to say, fuck you, USA. They're doing brick already. They're doing the money. All right? They're doing it. And they're not going to do a damn thing. So we're going to do all these things. We're all going to go bankrupt. The United States, Europe, we're going to collapse. And Russia and China are going to take over. That's all that's going to happen. And you want to know something? It's the Russians and the Chinese propaganda, psychological warfare units that are encouraging all this woke climate change because they know it will destroy the United States.
So
They're not going to do it.
You don't use Google Scholar for global warming science.
It doesn't matter. The science is irrelevant. Don't you understand?
Oh, that's a good quote from you.
The science is irrelevant. The science. First of all, no, you don't understand that this whole thing with the climate activists, what they're trying to do, what it's designed to do is to destroy the economy.
Okay, so you're saying that scientists that study ice cores are trying to destroy the economy?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying no, I'm not saying that at all. By the way, this ice core stuff, there are plenty of scientists who say that data, the way they're interpreting the data, is wrong. I'm not going to get into the science because I'm not
plenty of scientists.
Yes, there are at least 1,600 of them that just signed a thing.
That petition's a joke. I've gone through the whole list.
Right. It doesn't matter.
Real,
it doesn't matter.
Geophysicists.
Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
I personally correspond with top geophysicists on global
warming.
Warming.
It doesn't matter because what matters is what China and Russia and India are going to do. They're not going to do it. Okay. We will do if we do it, and they don't do it, and they're not going to do it because they don't care. They're not going to do it. So they can continue to use oil and coal. Russia's going to continue to supply. They can continue to operate. And we're going to go down. We're going to actually be occupied by China and Russia. That's what's going to happen.
Jack, how do you think we can solve global warming?
We can't.
Okay.
You adapt. Now, the only way we could do it is what I'm talking about with warp drive, control the gravitational field. There are all these exoplanets out there, habitable exoplanets, and with stargates, we have to move billions of people off world
to Elon Musk's strip club. Elon Musk wants a strip club on Mars.
Yeah, well, Mars is, we got to find Earth-like planets. They're Earth-like planets, like Earth, but where there aren't people already there that we have to fight. That's the only way. Otherwise, we adapt or we die. There's no.
You heard of Biosphere 2, right?
What?
Biosphere 2 in Arizona, where they tried to have a artificial biosphere and live in it.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit.
Closed off. It's closed off because it's bullshit because it failed, right? Like they couldn't make enough oxygen.
Yeah,
they were all starving.
That's funny too, right, Void? Because for example, Void is in we have examples of net zero architecture is where people are literally building net zero homes out of
Jack is correct. What Jack is referring to is the aerosol masking effect, which is proven. It's proven recently to be twice as bad as previously thought. This means a 40% decrease in sulfur particulates will heat up Earth another 1 degree Celsius global average. So the more renewable energy
time, if I just may ask for clarification,
it'll happen very fast. Like over 9/11, when we stopped flights, that actually heated or cooled down the planet. Or it heated up the planet because of the lack of flights. It's a well-proven fact. It's localized phenomena. So wherever there's more coal burning, when you stop the coal burning, it's actually going to heat up the planet a lot more. Now, the big problem is that the interior of the continents is where we grow food at scale, and the interior of the continents are 5 degrees Fahrenheit warmer than the global average. So as soon as you start reducing coal burning, like for example, they just reduced the diesel pollution on cargo ships, and it's a well-documented fact. They're saying that that's increased the temperature in the North Atlantic because that's where all the cargo ships went.
Oh, so that's shifting. Then that's shifting the what do you call it? Yeah, the wind. What do you call it? The
Yeah, also it leads
It's
to an
just
interesting
it's
question
all-
about whether or not, like, for example, void, like,
Right,
it's
here's
an
the point.
interesting
The point
question
is-
about whether or
listen.
not it's actually divergence or
Okay,
whether it's actually absorption. Because
Let-
No,
absorption
it's a reflection. It's the sulfur particles reflect the sunlight, the photons coming in. So that's what's causing when you decrease the sulfur particulates, the aerosol masking effect. It was just discovered to be twice as bad as previously thought. So if you like, for example, most people have heard of James E. Hansen. He was on
Yeah.
NASA. Now
Yeah.
if you read his research now, he's emphasizing that the leading cause of temperature increase on the planet right now is due to a reduction of the aerosol masking effect. In other words, an increase of or a decrease of diesel pollution.
Okay, so he's saying that we should get start pumping oil, right?
He's not saying that, but it's a catch-22 situation. Now, if you go back to Joseph Fourier 200 years ago, he's saying the effects of human industry. See, that's why I asked you about the entropy of matter compared to the entropy of gravity, because
I can't give you a
Roger
good answer
Penrose.
for that. I can't give you a good answer for that.
I know.
Here's the point. No matter
Yeah.
what we do, we're fucked. Okay. Probably with the most general. First of all, look at how stupid people are right now. Look how stupid Biden is. Look at how stupid the foreign policy of UK is to support Ukraine in this stupid war. I mean, which Germany is going down. Germany, by the way, Putin.
The whole European Union's going down. America has homeless shelters everywhere, and they're funding World War III.
Exactly. Okay, so the point is, we may not be alive in a year from now. I remember, I was at Cornell during the Cuban Missile Crisis. This is much worse than the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Biden is an idiot.
Exponentially worse. People don't understand. We're physically killing ethnic Russian people on the ethnic Russian border.
Yes,
Their nuclear power. If we go into their lands, they're going to launch nukes, and we're all done.
I don't know, man. We're getting into some dangerous conversation territory here that might get the whole thing banned. So let's just be careful about proceeding.
So we're living in the Soviet Union.
World War III.
This is worse. By the way, Russia is not the Soviet Union anymore. America is the new Soviet Union. All the communists are here. They're the ones running the White House. They're all what are called red diaper babies. All their parents were communists. The grandparents were card-carrying communists. Communist Party USA. And they've taken over. I know because I grew up with them. I know who they are.
Environmentalists are watermelons, right, Jack?
Most of the environmentalists are idiots. They're stupid.
They're watermelons. They're green on the outside and red in the inside.
Okay, yeah, right. But
that was my dad told me that.
But they're also dumb. They're the same as the communist youth and the Hitler youth. They just they don't know how to think. So the point is this. I don't think there's going to be a happy ending to any of this. I think mostly, as you already see it, the poor people in the third world countries, they're going to die off. The famine, they're killing each other, the coups and the famine, what you see there. Sadly, I think that's what's going to happen. And there's just a lot of people going to die. I don't see, unless the stuff I'm talking about works and we get low power, unless the time travelers come and save us, literally with the superior technology, able to move people, to exoplanets. That's
what
the only
Star
solution.
Trek episode was that?
I don't know, but there are plenty of science fiction stories, But that's the only happy solution is if the Sarfatti equation that Lawrence Livermore actually works when they do the test. If that works, then we have a chance of not destroying the planet. We have too many people. I don't care what Elon Musk said. Too many people. Too few resources, too much stupidity. People cannot manage properly. I mean, look who's leading the country. Biden. He's like McConnell. Biden and McConnell. I mean,
right? Both glitching out because their brains can't even function properly.
Yeah, of course.
Them as head leads.
Of course.
That's so sad. That.
Okay, but Tucker Carlson the other night in an interview. He lived 35 years in Washington, D.C. with all these people. He grew up with them. He says they're all stupid. They're really stupid. They're not competent to in Washington. It's a bubble.
Wasn't his dad part of the CIA too?
What? Yeah,
his
CIA.
His dad like radio free Cuba or something like that.
Well, whatever. Listen.
Can I just ask you a question, Jack, about the
Yeah.
about the global warming, right? What if we switched
What?
to nuclear power? What if that became more abundant?
If what?
Nuclear power. If we switched to
I'm
nuclear
all for
power.
nuclear power. Yeah, nuclear power will slow things
What
down.
about
Nuclear
thorium nuclear power?
I mean, yeah, there are dangers for the radioactivity, but nuclear power, we have to have. I mean, France is stupid cutting down, in Germany, cutting down their nuclear plants. I think Russia's building them.
Could we replace all coal and oil with nuclear?
You don't want to replace. First, electric cars are shit.
Finn, do you know any
I mean, I
uranium
like
miners?
Elon Musk, but Elon Musk is especially a con man. You know, with the Teslas, piece of crap. You know,
Hey,
and
Jack,
I mean,
I saw a stream that I was told it was polluted by uranium mining. Do you think? I mean,
what?
Uranium mining is not exactly. I mean, if you want to mine uranium, that's why I'm asking Finn, because in Australia they do a lot of uranium mining.
Yeah, but they also mining for lithium and all that stuff is also bad. Mining
is it equally? I know that like
It's pretty
50% of
bad.
the if you're native, if you're indigenous, the uranium, you know, where they're testing nukes or mining for uranium, the indigenous people took the brunt of it.
But wait a minute. You see, you didn't think of numbers. See, you're not thinking like a scientist.
Oh, they're just a number. I got it. Yeah.
No,
like
you don't get it. No, you don't
number.
have it. You're just, you're a shithead. Just listen. You
I'm
don't
a
use
compost head.
uranium.
Humanure head.
No, just listen.
Well, it's a very Vulcan idea, right? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few is a very simple concept. But really, if you think about the greater scope of humanity, right, we're all living short lives. We die off. And if we don't at least embrace in the time that each of us is alive,
look, the point is,
of our mining
you get more energy with less amount of uranium than you do with the lithium batteries. You need a lot more lithium to power all these cars than you need uranium to power the entire planet. Nuclear power is much more efficient.
Very true. Exponentially.
Do you think two-headed depleted? Do you think two-headed depleted uranium babies, when they're two-headed depleted uranium babies? Do you think that's
okay? Yeah, you're being stupid.
It's not stupid.
They always say two heads are better than one.
Okay,
go to Basra.
Are you transgender?
15% of the babies in Basra had deformities because of depleted uranium. Depleted uranium.
That's
not mining,
doesn't.
Though. That's imperialism and
terrorism. It's all connected together. My dad was a lawyer for the nuclear industry in Minnesota. He was a former chief deputy officer of Minnesota, and so that was a precedent case for Monticello. And when they started the nuclear power plant, the attorney general wanted to increase the regulations of routine emissions of radiation, and the military overruled it because that's why the interstates were built. So Eisenhower built the interstates so we could escape. We could escape nuclear disaster. You said it's worse in Cuba. You said you're saying nuclear is going to save us, and you're saying it's worse in Cuba.
No.
And nuclear, we're facing nuclear escalation.
No,
is it atoms for peace, or is it
you're not thinking. No, you're running around like a chicken without a head. You're scatterbrained all over the place. I mean, your neurons are misfiring. No, they made mistakes in the past. They weren't careful. They weren't ethical. I agree with all that. You can do it intelligently. If you can be mining uranium, you make sure that there are no people around nearby. You move the people out so that they're healthy. You protect them. There are ways of doing it smart. Yeah, they didn't do it right back then, but there aren't fixes to do it. You learn from the mistakes. Richard Feynman died from it. Feynman died young. He was only 60.
Basil J. Hiley said Feynman's wrong. He said he's wrong.
I'm sorry for being a young schmuck, but like, what killed Feynman? I didn't realize that he had died from something related to anything other than just natural death. So,
in fact, my girlfriend, a former girlfriend of mine, was his girlfriend when he died. She was she's hospice. She was with him when he was dying. The reason Feynman died young, let's see, he was born in 1918, and he died. He was born the same year my mother was born. And he died like 1989, 86 or something like that in 1980s. So he was in his 60s. He didn't even make 70. It's like
I
68.
thought it was all the strip clubs you went to all the time.
No, I went to strip clubs with Feynman. I drove him around in my Chevy. No, seriously, back in 1963. I know all about that. No, Feynman, what Feynman did, Feynman's first wife, he was at the Manhattan Project. His first wife died of breast cancer. He was very depressed. He was suicidal. And so what happened was when they did the bomb, when they tested Trinity, whatever it was, the bomb, he stood up.
Mm-hmm.
And
a lot of guys got that.
And so that's why he died at 60. Yeah, he was a healthy guy. And, so he died, he died almost 20 years ago, right? Yeah, he was more than 20 years ago.
Feynman,
That's much different than
in his autobiography.
He died from the bomb. The bomb killed him because he didn't take. He was basically. I think he knew it was a suicidal act. He was very depressed, and then he got over it, but it was too late. That's why
this is Feynman.
A suicidal act.
In his autobiography, he says that he watched it inside of his truck, and he said that the glass would be enough to like block.
No, I heard that he actually got different stories, but he got exposed. He got a lot of exposure, and it was long term. It took 40 years.
Yeah, but he definitely got the blast. He was there. He watched it happen with a bunch of these other guys.
He was exposed. Other people told me he was exposed. People who were there. So he exposed himself. But he probably did it maybe subconsciously. He was very depressed. And so
he didn't account. They didn't account for something in the calculations. He thought that.
Yeah, they were. Listen, they were very. Yeah, I mean, things were. So, but the point is now we know better, and now we can do a lot more. And hopefully we can have fusion. If we have this warp fusion reactor, then we don't have to worry too much.
Why are we saying we switch completely to it? Why are we saying we need?
I don't think anything's going to happen. I think we're going to have a. Tucker Carlson says that we're going to be in a nuclear war with Russia before the election because Biden is going to have to start a war in order to prevent Trump from becoming president. That's what he said just last night or night before last. So we're fucked. So all the stuff we're talking about, unless we're lucky, unless the UFOs come and save us at the last minute, like the cavalry coming, the Indians were around the wagon train, and the cavalry comes, John Wayne comes in his UFO, we're probably, we're screwed. That's what that's the most likely, because we have a stupid president. We have stupid people at the top. We have a stupid military. They destroyed the military. The generals, Lloyd, what's his name? Austin. He's an affirmative action idiot, and people who know him from the army. And Miley's an idiot. He's leaving, and be replaced by the guy taking over is worse than Miley. So we've destroyed the. We're a paper tiger. If we went to war with Russia or China, they're going to beat the shit.
Can't even supply Ukraine's artillery shells.
Yeah, you know why? Because China. We've moved most of our manufacturing over to China like idiots. And you know who did that already? Well, even the Bushes started that, but Clinton. Democrat, they did. Clinton did that. But I think even George Bush did it. So we're fucked. I mean, the whole thing is so.
The biggest thing about Taiwan is that all of the military chips, the processors for the U.S. military, is made in Taiwan. Thus, if China takes it back, they have access to all.
Which is also why China is not going to want. First of all, China doesn't have to attack Taiwan. Taiwan's going. There's going to be an election. The new party. The party's going to probably take over. Actually, both parties now want to reunite with China, but on terms with the economy. Both the Chinese on both sides, they want to have business. They want to have the economy good. Okay, so there's no real China problem, except with us.
When you say you think there might be a nuclear war, there's no doubt Biden's a moron, right? But Putin, I wouldn't say Putin would have a fire.
No. Putin's the only adult in the room. But Putin and China, unfortunately. Putin's the only thing that's preventing a nuclear war.
Yeah, without a doubt.
For 15 years now, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Putin's been when Trump and Putin got along fine. But Putin right now, I mean, that's why these guys in England, I love. say Putin's a Hitler, and he's a bit. I mean, he had good reason to go into Ukraine, all kinds of reasons. I mean, we had. We almost got into a nuclear war when Khrushchev put the nuclear missiles on our border in Cuba. Well, that's what we're doing to him. This is, the whole thing is so stupid. And then I have friends who say, "Oh, NATO's not a danger to Russia." That's not the way the Russians see it. And that's not the way I see it. Big objective. So we're and right now, I mean, we've made Russia stronger. Their army's much stronger than it was 2 years ago. And if we go to war with Russia, we're going to, as long as it's a conventional war, if it stays on nuclear, they're going to beat they're going to beat us. I mean, look all the stuff we're sending Ukraine. It's no good. Russians just destroying it.
Yeah. When I was asking you before about nuclear power, why do you say we don't want to switch all of it over? Why would we want to keep coal or oil?
I'm sorry, what? What did he say? I didn't hear it. I understand the word you said.
Before when I was asking
why you go 100% to nuclear instead of why you wouldn't get rid of all oil and coal?
Because we need oil. My Jaguar needs oil. Needs gas. I don't want an electric piece of shit. But when it rains, it short circuits. You can't use these Tesla cars, electric cars. The floods that they're having in Florida and everything. The batteries blow up, they explode, or they don't operate. Aside from that,
what's your opinion on
it? And the engines are very clean these days. The new engines are clean. That's bullshit,
I want to ask you about cold fusion. What's your opinion on cold fusion?
I hope it works. I don't have I don't spend any time trying to understand it.
Yeah.
But Brian Josephson does. So far, it hasn't worked.
Well, what do you think about geons and some of the stuff? There's a friend of ours, Bob Grenier, is working on some theories.
Yeah, I know all about geons. I was doing geons in the 1960s. But I was with John Wheeler.
Yeah, we wrote the paper on it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, geons don't work. Now there may be, in the metamaterials, the geons might work, because the reason geons don't work is because the gravity coupling is too weak. So the geons are too big. But the whole thing that I'm talking about is that we could increase the gravity coupling, and then we can maybe make little geons. Yeah, geons they're solitons. They're these nonlinear solitons. They're like, self-consistently localized clumps of gravity and electric field, the nonlinearities. Sure.
Jack, when you say the simple is the best, what do you think of Sarfatti of Penrose and Hameroff saying that the microtubules and tubulin are metamaterials? They're negative.
Yeah, it is. I said it.
Okay, so isn't that the simplest? It's already inside of us.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's my whole point.
That you're reverse engineering our biology, basically.
That's right. That's how we're going to make conscious machines. Yes, exactly. We're just reverse engineering the microtubules. It's called nanotechnology, quantum dot artificial neural nets. And then we have to pump them into macroscopic coherent state, what are called Fourier condensates. Yeah,
But you can pump them already in your own body.
We're pumped. That's why you eat food. That's
not just food. Like my own teacher went 28 days in a cave with no sleep.
Well, your teacher's a dumb shithead. I mean, anybody does that.
Well, he works with the Mayo Clinic doctors.
I don't care. Okay, so they were doing it as an experiment, maybe, but he's still.
No, he's Chinese. He did it at Mount Qingchen.
All right. So what? Why? He did it for a good reason. They were testing physiology.
No, he was a Taoist. A Taoist yogi master.
All right, good.
You call that new age, I know.
Yeah, it's new age. Yeah. No, actually, some of it may work. I'm not saying it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But but I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I get it. You want to drive your Jaguar?
I do.
Strip clubs.
Nice.
I do drive a Jaguar. I don't drive very much. My 2-year-old Jaguar only has 2,000 miles on it because I'm in London most of the time. Yeah, I go back. I only use my Jaguar to go to the store.
Why don't you go see Basil J. Hiley? Tell him, see how he's doing. He's 87.
Yeah, I know. I was with him about 2 years. He came to my club in London. I saw him about 3 years ago. I guess it was pre-COVID, right before COVID hit.
Okay.
Yeah. No, what Basil has done some very good things, but what he's doing now is too abstract. I like his surrealistic trajectories. All that is good, and a lot of stuff what he says is good. But all right.
He's got a lot of papers on mind matter. Is that too abstract? Mind matter?
Well, I don't. As far as I'm concerned, I've been there, done that. That's okay. I've solved that problem. I'm on to gravity now.
Yeah, I hear you. He just says that non-commutativity is a radical restructuring of all of physics, but you think
I think he
too
means
abstract.
he saw the non-commutativity of the space-time. You mean the Alan Connors?
No, pre-space.
Pre-space. You know what? Yes, but you know what though? I think he's going. Okay, it's good he does it. Maybe something will come of it, but we don't need it for anything practical. We don't need it to reverse engineer the UFOs. That's all. We don't need it for the 6. What is it? The 6 observables. Louis Elizondo. That's now 6, not 5. We don't need it to explain. We don't need it. There's a military. We don't need it to explain what the Navy. We don't need it to explain what the Congress wants to know in that congressional hearing with David Grusch and Ryan Graves and David Favreau. That's what I'm working on. Okay.
I saw a TR-3B so close I could hit it with the rock.
What's an ATR-3? What is that?
The TR-3B. I emailed you about it. The TR-3B, the equilateral triangle.
You mean one of our aircraft? So what? It's not a warp drive.
It's okay. We'll talk about Jeremy. Speak up for me here. The TR-3B.
Please do not say that the TR-3B is not a big deal. We at least need to have that technology come out and acknowledged in the mainstream science.
Here's the thing too. Like if we can't link the electromagnetic coupling factors with the cosmological constant, and we don't understand how the variability of that cosmological constant actually is, in fact, a variable. It's not a constant as it's been currently named, but if we understand how that works, then we have the answer to not just this warp drive stuff, not just the UAP.
We
also can talk about psychic phenomena.
Hey, listen, if you look at my book Supercosmos, I talk about what you just talked about. All that cosmological stuff, it's at a large scale. It's only these cosmological things are only where a galaxy is a point. Okay, it doesn't apply down at the level of machines on our scale. It's totally different physics.
Right, that's our localized gravitational coupling coefficient that we can do at the local scale. But these effects have a major impact on the large scale.
Never has so many words been spoken with so little content. Okay, you're talking too much and you're not saying anything. Okay, you're a smart kid, but it's fine. So, but unless you write it down in mathematics equations, slow down, and then what are you talking about? But what I'm telling you is that the problem is basically very simple. The physics and the math needed to solve the practical problem is pretty simple. The engineering, the condensed matter, the condensed matter, how you make the iron crystals and what you dope it with, that's complicated. That's the hard part, and that's not my part. But the basic understanding of what's going on is very easy. Now with this TR, whatever, this plane, very simple. When that plane flies, do you see any anomalies in the frequency?
Yeah, I see a big red light in this. I saw a big red light in the center. I knew nothing about.
Okay, wait. The big red light in the center, but what was it doing? What was it doing?
That's what Ed Fouché explained. Jeremy, why don't you go over what Ed Fouché explained the big red light is doing in the center? Jeremy Reese knows all about the big red light in the center.
But wait, there's my car. Wait, stop. I'll tell you the car I had when I drove Feynman around. This is the car. This is the car.
Little digression there.
Yeah, this is the car I drove Feynman around in Hollywood.
All right. Well, Basil J. Hiley says Feynman is wrong.
That's a Triumph. That's a Triumph. I had that car too. I didn't have that model. I had this model, but it was a black. It was black. No, this is an earlier. I had to go for the XK150. Go for an XK150 convertible. XK150.
So now we're go back to the ICE power.
Yeah. Okay, there we. Oh, all right. Okay. No, yeah, this is black, but I had that was the red one, but it was black. It's just a. No, I think that's not the. Is that the XK150? I think it's an earlier one. It's a nice.
That's 1962 Triumph.
Oh, no, this is a Triumph? No.
Yep.
Oh, okay. No, can't find the Jaguar. That's a Triumph? No, that's not a Triumph. Is that a Triumph? Because I had a TR4. Let me see. No, this Jaguar. I had one. Well, mine was kind of like this.
Dude.
Ooh, that is a nice car. That's sick.
No, this is what's this? What's this? No, Jaguar XK 150. Do Jaguar XK 150. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's get back to. Okay. Here's the point. Let me just say, if you see a ship coming toward you, and it's coming toward you fast, and it's red in the front, it's probably
No, it was not coming towards me fast.
okay.
It was okay.
If it's hovering, it's going to be blue.
It wasn't hovering either. It was going too slow to support itself by normal propulsion. It was making a low humming noise.
Did you see any blue light?
No, I just saw a big red light in the center. Well, there was early on, I saw spheres of light on the horizon, and I think one of those was blue, but there was also a green light. And I was like, okay, what are those lights on the horizon? That's not. I ruled everything out. My sister got bored because I was being logical, you know.
Okay. Well, you can't really tell anything by visual.
No. Then it came towards me, and it came so close I could hit it with the rock, and went right over the big oak tree. It was the size of a huge crown of an oak tree. It went right over my garage.
Hey,
I did not dare take my eyes off it.
Okay, wait a minute. Was it making any noise?
I'm making a low humming noise, and it had a huge red light in the center. Now, Ed Fouché explained this. Ed Fouché explained it, and Jeremy Reese was buddies with Ed Fouché.
Okay, how did he explain it?
Well, ask Jeremy Reese. Jeremy, can you go over what Ed Fouché told you?
Did you saw this thing fly over you? How big was it?
My whole point, my larger point here is the U.S. military is huge and compartmentalized. And if we have the TR-3B that's using some sort of, different propulsion, that Ed Fouché.
Okay, here's what I say. What I think, if this thing really is a warp drive, if it is that, then it's because they've had some of these time travelers have come back and given it to them.
No, I'm sorry. No, I know you're saying that, and
you know why?
It's
because I know John Wheeler. I know the top guys in relativity back in the 50s and 60s. I know what they know, and they didn't know any of this shit. They weren't talking about any of this kind of stuff.
In the 60s, yeah, but
in the 50s and the 60s.
Yeah, I know, but in the
70s, also the 70s. They didn't know any of this. I know.
Well, I saw it in 1997, and if you go to the National UFO Reporting Center.
Okay, so I'm saying if what you saw, if you're telling me the truth, I'll assume you are. Then what you saw was a time traveling ship. Now, how do you know it was ours? How do you know?
No, I did not, because I'll tell you this. My family owned the local legal newspaper, and one of the journalists, she brought me a file of news clippings, and she said there was a mass sighting in the 1970s, and she says we live in a military flight test corridor.
Yeah, but how do you know that this craft, did it have markings on it?
Where was that mass sighting?
Yeah, actually, somebody else, that was in the St. Croix Valley. Somebody else saw the craft so close that they saw a marking on it. They described it, and somebody said, so to a T, the marking was for the Space Innovation Center in Colorado. The Space Innovation Center in Colorado.
Was this in Colorado? Where were you when you saw it?
No, I was in Minnesota when I saw it.
You were in Minnesota. What, in 1997? Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, I claim if it sounds like it's warp technology, if it's humming, I claim that they got this then from the time travelers of the future, from stuff that I'm doing now. I know that's what I was told was going to happen in 1953. That's what they said. So
yeah, I reviewed your whole 1953 thing with
it really happened.
I know, and your grandfather was in the military, and you later, you would get toured with the military people, and that phone call you received, like you said, it could have been something linked with military intelligence.
But it couldn't. You know why? I could. Also, I got a lot of phone. I only remembered one. I had weeks of them apparently, but I don't remember. I had missing time. But the point is, it said I was going to meet the others in 20 years. And that's when I meet Hal Puthoff and Russell Targ and all these guys.
Yeah, I mean, that's
20 years. The others who were involved. Hal Puthoff told me something like that happened to him too with the phone. When he was a kid, he had a contact.
Okay, but the military planning is 20 years in advance.
No,
I can
they
tell you
don't.
that.
No, that's not true. That's false.
John Judge, his parents worked for military planning, and he said the civilian deaths for Vietnam were planned 20 years in advance.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's
No, he was.
You got no way of knowing that.
No, he was in the top secret corridors in DC, underneath in DC, or whether it's Bethesda, Maryland. I don't know. I can't remember, but you can look up John Judge. He's got talks on YouTube. He was a prominent researcher, and I saw him talk in person. He came to Minneapolis.
All right, well, whatever. But the point is they couldn't. The military cannot predict that. I'm in my girlfriend's mother's place in Carmel Valley Sunday morning. I'm to fly to Trieste on a Wednesday. I pick up the newspaper, the San Francisco Chronicle magazine. There's a big spread on Uri Geller and Stanford Research Institute. And a couple of months before that, some guys came to me and Fred Wolf and said, "Listen, we want you to work on the physics of Uri Geller, and we'll give you the money." Okay, that was like months before that. And I said, "Hey, just let me finish the story so you get it. Otherwise, you don't understand shit. Okay, you don't get the point." So Monday morning comes, I call up Stanford Research Institute. Brenda Rigg gets on the phone. They said, "Dr. Sarfatti, we were hoping you would give us a call. Can you please come to Stanford Research Institute?" I get in I said, I was only like an hour and a half. I was in Carmel Valley. They're up in, Stanford. Got into the car. First thing, I meet Brendan O'Regan, and he takes me I meet Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut who walked on the moon. Okay. And the rest of it is in this the story. Get the book.
Did you meet John Hadstead at Cambridge? He also tested Uri Geller.
I worked with John Hadstead. He wasn't at Cambridge.
Okay.
He was at University of London. Yeah, I arranged. That's my doing.
Okay, that's why I'm asking you. That's why I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, there's a whole story there. Okay, listen. What you got to do, just get the book, The Great Race. There's a lot of the details are in there. And when
do you have any stories about John Hadstead?
I know. I was at his house.
Okay.
I worked with him. He was the chairman. I was at Birkbeck. I was a research fellow. Well, he was the chairman of the department. I know John Hadstead.
Okay.
Of course, I know him.
All right. I'm just asking then if you know any stories. It'd be nice to get some stories
I know
out.
a lot of stories, but John Hadstead, well, that's the book. Get the book, The Great Race. I think he's in there. But my book, Destiny Matrix, has a lot of John Hadstead. And also John Hadstead, go online. He has all the Uri Geller notebooks. He has all the details there.
Yeah, unfortunately, people think, he was wrong. I mean, about Uri Geller. And that's what you think too, right? Like Uri Geller was a scammer.
No. That's complicated. No, Uri Geller does have power. But he sometimes cheats. You can't control it. Sometimes he cheats.
Actually, I will mention this about Uri Geller and too for Charles Crawford, who's also watching. Now, there was a recent interview with Uri Geller on Area 52's channel. He just launched his channel. And Uri actually admits that in that time he was kind of screwed up. And without directly saying it, he kind of admits that he didn't have the power at that time. But he also says that anybody can learn this, and he had to learn it sort of post-haste after his screw-ups. And so he does have it now, but he may not have had it at the time.
He had. I worked with the horror show. Now he has power, but at that time it's a matter of controlling the power. Okay, it's a complicated thing. There's that's a whole other thing. We don't have time. I mean, you don't have time to go. But
it's good
again, just get the book, The Great Race. Read that book, and then when my book, don't get the book now because I'm updating it. The Destiny Matrix book will have a lot of this stuff. It's a complex story over 80 years. So the thing is, telepathy, all that stuff is real. High strange, it's all real. And
I agree. I know telepathy is real. I trained in it also to finish my master's.
Yeah, well, you have Russell Targ.
Well, they had this theory that Uri was friends with this guy Puharich, who invented this radio transceiver that could be put in a dental film.
I stayed at Puharich's house. I know everything about it. I was part of that. Okay, you're telling me I'm a witness to all that.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah, of
what
course.
Can you tell us about all that?
Yes. That's the old geek.
Was Yuri using a radio transceiver in his tooth to fool him into thinking he had psychic powers, or?
Well, that's a good question. That they may have done that, but that's not everything he did. Yeah,
Right.
I don't know. That's not a bad. That's a possibility. Yes.
Well, that's one of the theories because Puharich had this patent. I don't know if you heard about the patent for the tooth.
I saw it. I saw he's showing me all this shit.
Oh yeah, huh?
Of course, I was at his house in Austin. I met him in London. Met him with Uri. I know a lot about Andrea Baharaj. Barbara Honegger. Oh no, Barbara. It wasn't Barbara Honegger. It's what's her name? She died. She just recently.
Yeah,
died.
I know who you're talking about.
Elizabeth
Rosher,
yeah.
yeah.
I lived all that. I know all these people.
So you were buddies with Herbert Bernstein, or did you just go to school with them?
Well, we weren't like bosom buddies. But we were. Well, yeah, we went with the same classes.
Uh-huh.
We're in the same class. It was a class. We went to parties together. In fact, there's a photograph of all of us. There's a big photograph of the Bernstein twins, a Christmas party of the Last Supper. And I don't. Oh, I could tell you one thing though. When we all took the written PhD oral exam at UCSD, and I was second. So I don't know who was first. That's why I found out later. Bob Gould was a professor who says you could cheat on the oral, but you can't cheat on the written. But the reason I was
the opposite way.
I was offered a job as assistant professor of physics at San Diego State down the road from UCSD before I had the PhD because I was second on the oral exam that year. And Herbert Bernstein took the exam with me, and so did the two Bernstein twins. I mean, not Bernstein twins. The Benford twins.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Gregory Benford.
Right. You should read their book, Timescape, because that's about what we're talking about, future to past, Timescape.
Yeah, science fiction.
Yeah, well, that's all because Fred Hoyle used to come down to La Jolla from Cambridge. And this whole thing, the future to past, that's all Fred Hoyle, too. Fred Hoyle, Costa de Beauregard.
Yeah, but Costa, don't you think, I mean, in my opinion, Costa de Beauregard was hung up on invariance.
What do you mean hung up? Everybody's any physicist.
No, non-commutativity is not.
Oh yeah, no. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? Yeah, you're too glib. You're just throwing words around without really understanding it.
Did you ever go to Stanford Linear Accelerator Center?
I went there a few times. Why would I go there? Why would I go there now?
Well,
Eddie went to some courses there in summer schools. I went there about 2004, 2006, around that. Yeah, I would go there. I've been there.
Eddie Oceans was hired there to work on non-commutativity.
Oh, who cares? And no, you're sounding a little bit like a crackpot there because you're obsessed. You get
so Slack is crackpot. You think Slack is crackpot?
No, don't say Slack is crackpot. I'm saying you're a crackpot. Slack.
Okay, Luke. What about Luke Hoffman? Is Luke?
No, Luke Hoffman's a smart guy.
He collaborated with the Oceans.
Listen, the point is you're taking everything out of context, just throwing words around.
I've corresponded with Luke Hoffman several times.
Write down. Corresponded. The point is you're bullshitting. What you have to do, you write down an equation on the board. You say, "Hey, I mean this, and this goes to this." That's the way a physicist works.
Yeah. So you say the simplest is the best.
Well, yeah, but you got to speak the language. You're not, you're just bullying. You're just throwing words around. You're throwing jargon around.
So Alon Khan, he doesn't know the equations either.
No, but you don't know them. You haven't. If you knew them, you would write them. You would show them. Say, hey, this I wrote. You go, hey, project. Somehow say, this is my theory. I've done this, or this is what they're talking about. When I say non-commutativity, I mean this. Show me the equation. Show me what you're talking about.
You have papers, Drew. Do you not?
Non-commutativity is a very vague term. It means all kinds of things. Quantum mechanics is non-commutative algebra. Okay.
Yeah, I know. We already talked about that.
So it's like you're telling me. I mean, you're telling me bullshit. You don't like. It's clear to me you don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So
you're talking at a superficial level.
So Alon Khan, he has a lecture called "Music of Shapes," Now he has a Fields Medal in math. That's harder to get than the
All right,
Nobel
okay,
Prize.
yes, yeah, I know a little bit about that, but it's totally irrelevant as far as I can tell right now. I don't
So
see
you're
any-
saying when he gives a lecture called Music of Shapes on non-commutativity, you're saying that's irrelevant.
it's irrelevant to the problem I'm working on. Yeah, unless you can
Okay.
show me, I could be wrong about that, but you have to show me.
Okay.
It's irrelevant. It's
I just
nice
want to. I'm opening up that window because first you said it's very clear. Now you're saying you could be wrong. That's fine. We'll just leave it at that.
No, what I'm saying is that so what?
So what?
Old fucker,
If-
what's he saying? Old schmuck, what's he saying? What is that? What is that there?
Yeah,
I
he
can't
also
see it.
has.
It's too small.
He has a lecture for physicists also.
So what? There's nothing to do with what I'm. Physics is a big subject.
Yeah, I know, but Basil J. Hiley said that Alon Khan's lecture to physicists is very
Yeah,
relevant.
but you want to know something? And nothing Basil's working on is relevant to the problem of reverse engineering to explain how these things fly. It's not relevant.
I sent you the quote on weak measurements being
Yeah, that's
gravitationally repulsive.
relevant, but that's not non-commutative. That's relevant. That's
Okay, Basil J. Hiley says weak measurements are non-commutative. They're the same as Bohmian.
Everything in quantum mechanics and measurements is non-commutative, so it doesn't say anything. It's not. It's vague. What you're saying is vague. It's vague.
Basil J. Hiley's not vague.
No, you are. I know he's not. You are.
Okay, go
You're a schmuck, not him.
read Basil J. Hiley. He's not vague.
I've read it. Yeah, no, but you are. You don't know what you're talking about.
You haven't read him. I'm telling you, you have not read him. Not his latest research. You need to really study it. It's not vague.
No, I said what you're saying is vague, not what he's saying. You're saying is vague.
Yeah, sure. I'm telling you to read Basil J. Hiley.
Is that the puzzle? Is that the paper that we showed on the negative mass? Was he in that paper?
No, but he's saying that the weak measurements. He's doing weak measurement experiments right now. He's working with Robert Flack. They're testing argon.
Weak measurement is good stuff. Okay, good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, but he says Aronoff is slightly misunderstood about it.
He said, well, they even have little arguments, little details, but that doesn't affect the fundamentals. Yeah, there may be little details in the theory, but that doesn't affect the fundamental picture. Sure.
Okay, so you disagree about the fundamentals with Basil J. Hiley?
No, I didn't know. I didn't say that. I don't know what he says yet. I don't know what because you cannot be precise enough to explain. See, you don't know enough to explain what the points are.
See this lecture, Music of Shapes?
That has nothing to do with anything.
I figured it out in high school.
All right, good for you. So what? How does that?
And then when I took Herbert J. Bernstein's quantum physics class, I realized it was the same secret as this non-commutativity in music theory.
What does non-commutativity in music theory mean?
Just listen to Alon Khan's video. He calls it 2, 3. You want the simplest.
Time here. I'm not gonna. I have things I have to do.
I know you don't. You think a Fields Medal math professor is not going to.
If you mean that if you play two notes and then you reverse the other notes, it sounds different. That's non-commutativity. So what?
No, that's not what I mean.
Then what do you mean?
Look, it's.
What do you mean?
Okay. Basil J. Hiley says it's a radical restructuring of physics.
Well,
you want me?
So okay, what? Even if it is, it's probably.
He says he details how Richard Feynman was wrong on YouTube. He points it out.
All right. Well, I'll take a look
with the equations.
Then send me the URL. I'll take a look.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I'll email it to you. I'll put it in the chat too, so other people can find it.
Okay. The point is, this may be interesting fundamental physics, but it will not change. There's Basil. Yeah, there he is. But it won't change what I'm working on right now because I don't need any of that heavy stuff. It's the problem I'm working on is a lot simpler than what he's working on. It's not as complicated. The complications come in the solid state physics, how to make the metamaterials. That part I don't know.
All right, I posted the link where he disproves Richard Feynman.
No, well, I have to see. Yeah, there may be stuff that. I do know that Feynman's stuff is not complete. If you apply the Bohmian picture to the Feynman diagrams, you're going to get extra lines. You get extra structure. Does he say that? Because from the hidden variable, from the particles themselves, See the actual particles, not just
the extra heat. Okay, I'm just gonna let you study him. All right, I'm not gonna try to be Basil J. Hiley for you. You know that would do him an injustice.
Yeah, right. Okay, so there we are. Okay, I'm gonna. Yeah, it's. I think I had enough of you, you assholes.
Did you want to talk quickly about what you're working on now with the metamaterials before you go?
I'm not actually doing metamaterial work. There are other people. Like I hope, like Jeremy should be doing metamaterial work.
Very true.
Eventually, yeah. I'd
Well,
like to.
if you look at the plasma, if you look at the Lawrence Livermore paper, they have a particular simple model of the S field in terms of the permittivity, the dielectric properties of the plasma. It's not a metamaterial, it's a plasma. Okay. And their dielectric coefficient in their machine, they say, the relative permittivity, it's a pure number, right? Relative permittivity is 10 to the 16 in this plasma. Okay, 10 to 16. And the S field, the thing that amplifies the coupling of electromagnetism to gravity, is the square of that. Basically, I'm simplifying, it's a square. So that's where you get the 10 to 32. 10 to 32. So that S field is basically amplifying the coupling of their electromagnetic plasma fields by a factor 32 powers of 10 bigger than Einstein's coupling, which is G over C to the fourth, which is like 10 to the minus 43 reciprocal newtons of force. So I'm amplified. There's an amplification in their machine, and I'm going by their numbers, of 32 powers of 10. In other words, the Einstein coupling in their machine will be 32 powers of 10 stronger than what everybody thinks it is. Okay. And that will create the warp bubble. That's what they hope to see. So we need a metamaterial where the dielectric permittivity, relative permittivity, is as big as we can make it. It's got to be at least 10 to, if we could get it 10 to 20, it'd be better. Yeah, it has to happen in a resonance, some kind of resonance, right? When you pump the thing, some kind of force, like a driven harmonic oscillator, damped harmonic oscillator, but with nonlinearities in it. And you want to get a sharp resonance, very high Q. That's what you want. But also, there's this other thing. This is only a simple model. This guy, Keith Wanza, he found that there should be, the S field will also go as 1 over the relative magnetic permeability. So the more diamagnetic it gets, if you get a diamagnetic metamaterial, that should also amplify the coupling of electromagnetism to gravity. So either you want to get a very big permittivity, electric permittivity, relative, pure number, or a very small, as close to zero as possible, magnetic relative permeability. That's what you want in the metamaterial. And I don't know enough. I'm busy working out the warp drive stuff. There's a lot of general relativity that has to be done. I want to do general relativity inside matter. So that's where they come together. But it's a big field, and that's why we need the Manhattan Project. We need we need at least dozens of physicists and engineers all kind of working on, and we need artificial intelligence now. That thing that what's that Prom? Whatever that guy worked with Brian Graves. We need the artificial intelligence to sift through all the papers and try to find what we're looking for. I'm beginning to use Chat GBT, by the way.
We got Pinecone going, and a bunch of people working on some AI stuff for our group too. So
okay, listen, if you know people, because this guy, he hasn't done it yet, but if you can get some of your people, what we want to do is to take an archive paper, a physics paper, like an archive, and have the AI summarize it and make charts, to summarize, so we don't, because we have hundreds of papers, we can't read them all, but at least we get some summaries, and then we can see which papers we should focus on. So if you get somebody to have the AI, extract what they think is the fundamental points of the paper, the talking points. There is something that does that, but they're being very secretive about it. They sent me a few, it was not bad, but they just not showing me how to do it. So,
Yeah, so the part of the thing is the cleaning of the data about putting it in so that the thing can see it and interpret it. The equations thing is a difficult thing for the AI
Yeah.
to figure out and
I know.
navigate currently.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem. That's where. Well, that's where. But at least they could point to some of the verbal stuff. Then we could look. Then look at the equations. I don't know. We'll see.
But yeah, we already have like done the work of like assembling a really solid database of like all the best papers and a collection of all the good data over the years. So we have one of the best databases out there.
But in what? In what field? In solid state physics? In what?
Everything related to everything that anyone can, all the scientists connected to me have ever found in their years of research.
Online?
We're all sharing it in one big place. It's part of the database project. And if you have data and you're a database guy and you have papers and stuff you want to contribute, please be Alien Scientist.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I probably wouldn't mean much to me, but go ahead. What?
Yeah, we have a database team working on that, and we have some AI people who are working with building the Pinecone infrastructure to search the database.
Well, have them look for what you want to look for: metamaterials with very big electrical, dielectric constants, and very small magnetic permeability. You want them diamagnetic, either very diamagnetic or very high dielectric response. That's what you want.
Interesting. So this would almost be a material science simulator where you'd have to build in those.
Well, that's what the Lawrence Livermore, they had plasma. Somehow they've been working on this 3 years.
Well, this is what Lenny Susskind's been working on with Apple and Google for like 4 years now. He talked about it on Lex Friedman.
When's the last time you heard of anything from Lenny Susskind?
Lenny Susskind on Lex Friedman podcast about 3 years ago was saying, "Hey, I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I'm going to say it anyway." And
Is that what he says?
Yeah.
Well, Lenny said, yeah, but that was 3 years ago. I mean, recently. Let me tell you something. Lenny Susskind, something's happened to Lenny Susskind. Apparently, I mean, medical. Maybe he had a stroke or something, because a former, like a wife of his, is in Italy, contacted me, and he's dropped out of sight. He used to, he was sending us support for her kids, and he stopped, and he can't get through, she can't get through, and so nobody seems to know what happened to him. So I'm wondering if he had. I do know he fell off a ladder. He had some accident a couple of years ago. He's my age. So if you hear anything from Lenny Susskind recently, 3 years ago, I know he was okay. He was, he was sending her money for her kids. It's an ex-wife. In Italy. She's Italian, Daniela, and she wanted me, but I don't want to get into his, and then apparently his emails to Stanford are going to his son, Sonny. So there's something so if you see something recent from Lenny Susskind, please let me know. I mean, this
was a little bit old, so I haven't heard that. Thanks for the update.
What? Somebody say something?
I just said thanks for the update on the info on Lenny. I haven't heard anything from him. I've never communicated directly with Lenny.
No, but if you see any recent, if he does any recent podcast or anything like that, let me know. I mean, but there's something weird going on there. I hope he may be in a hospice. He may be like Joe Biden. What happens, right? Maybe like McConnell. Look, we have McConnell, we have Biden.
He's not running around sniffing every little girl's hair when he comes across. So.
Is there anyone running for election that you think would fund a Manhattan Project style?
Oh, well, Donald Trump will. And so, I don't know if I like RFK Jr. I was on the short list to be Donald Trump's science advisor, I was told.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. If he was going to be
that right there is the reason to vote Trump.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it. I mean, I just want to be able to, get on the phone and talk to him. That's all. I don't want to. I don't want to be in D.C. with those assholes. I have my lifestyle. I go to England. I go to Italy. You know.
Jack, you could be the #1 influencer. No, you have to do that.
That's what I want. Yeah, I
Save
want to
the
be the
world.
I just want to be the influencer. But we have all these schmucks. I mean, I think Eric Weinstein's a schmuck. He's a smart schmuck. Lex Friedman. You see all these guys? Oh, do you see Lex
If
Friedman?
I could get you a debate with Eric Weinstein, would you?
Oh man, that'd be off the chart.
He's afraid of me. I've challenged. I said, "Come on, let's duel," because he's afraid. He's afraid. He wants.
Hey, this was pretty good tonight. You and Void, man. I've been meaning to get this together for a while.
Listen, no, I got to explain something to you. All these guys, they're smart. You know, smart. I know what they are. But they're schmucks. They're in the schmuck. But how old is Weinstein? Okay, Lex Friedman is having a nervous breakdown on Twitter. Look at his tweets. It sounds like, I mean, I see like he's having, it's like Weltanschauung. I'm afraid he's going to commit suicide. Hey, life is beautiful. Then he's depressed. He's letting it all hang out. Well, look at Lex Friedman's current tweets. He's traveling around, and he's maybe his girlfriend left him or something. I don't know. Something. He's having an emotional breakdown in public. He's letting it all hang out.
Can I leave you?
Yeah, and Eric Weinstein's very insecure. I said a few things about his theory, why it's wrong, and he's very insecure about it. So these guys are afraid. And Joe Rogan's just an idiot. I mean, Joe Rogan, he's a schmuck. I mean, he's a real schmuck.
He's talking to Jeremy Corbell. That says it all.
Yeah, he's
been hit in the head way too many times in his MMA career. That's all there is to it. He was eating worms to be on TV to start.
Oh yeah,
he's a cool guy, but you don't get it.
And Elon Musk is a schmuck too. I mean, he's very smart. He's a schmuck. No, Elon Musk sometimes looks like he's having a breakdown as well. Some of the tweets. Some of his tweets are good. I mean, he has his good days and his bad days. Elon Musk.
Why do you think SpaceX doesn't?
Sam Altman seems to. Sam Altman's my next door neighbor. You know Sam Altman? He lives literally next door to me, in the house.
Bring him in. Go knock on his door right now.
He knows my girl. He knows my girlfriend who owns the property owner. But he bought. They were trying to the place next door. They redid it. Whoever owned it, some big company, they tried to sell it for $48 million. At Russian Hill, $48 million. They built there was a big fight. There's an underground garage, 6 cars. It has an underground swimming pool, has an underground gym and underground theater, 4 different levels. They built down into Russian Hill. Okay. And it's a beautiful, it's like a little country. It goes from one street, the whole block, and our place is on the boundary of it, one of the boundaries of it. So he talks to my girlfriend who owns the property I live in, but he's hardly ever there. So I haven't met him yet. They just moved in like a year ago, during COVID maybe. And he's all over the place. They probably have other places too. So he bought it for $28 million. In COVID, they bought it for 20. Steve Jobs' widow lives up the street from me, about 2 blocks from here. She has many places. She bought a place for $17 million cash, So, so all these guys, they're all schmucks. They're smart. They make money. They luck on, but they're basically schmucks. I mean, I was a schmuck at that age too. I think back, God, all the stupid things I did. But I guess I had to do it because otherwise I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, right? So it's all,
I think your stories wouldn't be as interesting.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm like a travels of a schmuck. Portrait of the genius as a young schmuck, or something like that.
Gotta go through that. To be old and wise without being young and stupid first.
Yeah, well, I still do things that are schmucky. I mean, I'm telling you, that's called the Catholic. I call it original schmuckiness, original sin.
Hey, Jack. Just to let you know, nobody's probably read James Joyce's Portrait of the Artist of a Young Man anymore.
Oh, yeah. Well, they should.
Exactly.
They should. Okay. So there we are. Any other, does anybody have anything intelligent to say at this point?
No, this was a
great
I
did have a question. You mentioned
Michael just jumped on, actually.
Yeah. So. Is this going to be on YouTube or is it just one time?
Oh, we've been live on YouTube the whole time on several channels.
No, but I mean, will it be on YouTube afterward.
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's always saved. It's on 3
I'll send
different
you a
channels.
link
You're
with,
good.
along with all of
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Drew's
So-
links.
You
as
should
well.
say,
So why?
send it to
why large-
Weinstein and Musk. What? Go ahead. Oh, is that Peroni there?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hello.
so he's
It
the
is,
guy.
yeah.
He's the guy who knows the condensed matter physics.
A little bit, at least.
Yeah.
I'm still learning.
And Jeremy.
So why? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Michael.
So why a large mu or a large epsilon, but not both? For
You can have
certain
both.
services?
Oh yeah, both is good. If you could do both, that's even better.
Okay, got you. Just
Yeah.
was curious.
Yeah. Okay, the formula is S, the S field. This is the Wanzer and Sarfatti, Keith Wanzer, who kind of disappeared too. But it's that S is equal to 1/2 the square of the relative permittivity plus the square of the reciprocal of the relative magnetic permeability.
Got you.
Okay. S is 1/2 parenthesis square E squared plus 1 over U squared. That's it. So you can find them both. That's even better. But apparently, I guess the more, superconductors are diamagnetic. See, and there's macroscopic coherent. So that would fit the, Giovanni Bonazi's claims that the superconductors have this anomalous gravity thing. So that's generally consistent, but then you have to worry about the Meissner effect that, the magnetic field is 0. But then you have type 2 superconductors. We have the filaments, the magnetic filaments in there. So how to do it properly? I mean, I don't know how to do it, but I mean,
Yeah. Speaking of that, actually,
we need good condensed matter theorists. We need good condensed matter.
we saw something interesting in Mark's lab. I know how you feel about Mark, but when you take a superconductor, at least we had YBCO, I believe, or maybe BISCO, and when you mechanically spin the superconductor while it's flux pinned, and you let it warm up, so it goes through its transition temperature. It's if you just have it sitting there not spinning, it'll simply fall off if it's under the magnet. But if you spin it, then it looks like some of the angular momentum is turned into magnetic vortices and flux pinning, and it actually becomes magnetic and then falls off.
Oh, well, yeah, that may be. But the point is, superconductors are no good because you have to freeze them. The whole point,
Unless you have a room temperature one.
What?
Unless you have a room temperature one.
Oh well, yeah. If you have a room temperature, that'd be fine. But I'm saying apart from that. But the whole point is that this Froelich effect is room temperature superconductivity, but it's not equilibrium. You have to keep. It's like a laser. You have to keep pumping it.
Yeah.
As soon as you remove the pump, it goes. It loses its. Property.
Yeah, I recall like almost a decade
ago.
Oh,
Wait, there's something else. Wait, there's something else. Before I leave, there's something else. I have to do this. I have to go back to it.
Sure.
Larry Lemke has had some. Well, he's been studying stories about the retrieved Roswell material, and this tinfoil like stuff. It's very thin, but then like you can feel when they put your fingers against it, you feel like a tingling. It's like this little anti-gravity thing there. So, like it's permanent though, but it's not being pumped by unless it's radioactive, unless it's some kind of radioactive energy source, low level, it's like a metabolism, like the ATP sort of thing that's pumping it. But if it's this way at equilibrium, so the point is, I found in a book by Beryl on quantum field theory on curved space time that spin zero quantum fields in thin materials, they create negative energy. They create anti-gravity. Interesting.
What was the name of that again?
It's where the hell is it? Let me see. It's called quantum. Oh wait, okay, hang on. Quantum field theory in curved space. Wait a minute.
All right. Well, we're
okay. I got that search over.
Wait, this is it.
Ah, perfect.
Nice.
I'll just screenshot that if you put it up to the.
Wait, let me get the page. I'll even get the page. It's page 90, I think. Page 90. Let's see. Page 90.
Well, I got the title
Yeah.
at the very
yeah.
least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here it is. Oh, no. Wait. Okay. So, no, it's one dimension. Okay. Cylindrical, two-dimensional space. Oh, it's one dimension. No, be quantum wires. Be quantum wires. Like it's page 90. Page 90. And the stress energy tensor is negative.
Why wouldn't that also maybe be the case for pinned flux lines?
Well,
in
maybe,
superconductors?
well, maybe so. Okay, maybe so. This would be like for like a quantum wire, one-dimensional system,
Mm-hmm.
like a
Well,
loop.
in fact,
Okay, or like a loop. Okay, like a
Gotcha.
little nano loop. Okay,
Gotcha.
of quantum wire, in which we could, if we could make a spin zero, from quasi-particles, like excite the quasi-particle, find a material that was spin zero. Now, other spins may do it too. I've just read. I haven't read the whole thing. I haven't had time, but let me see if I could just find the thing. This field mode deserve, and it matters if you twist it or untwist it too. There's a thing. Wait, let me see. Let me.
So
let me
a Mobius strip sort of thing versus a.
Yeah, well, actually, if you make it into a Mobius strip sort of thing, the effect goes that you don't want to do that. You want it untwisted.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, wait a minute. Because
so are you familiar with the cavity structure effect?
Yeah, it's all this cavity modes. When you add up all the cavity modes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. They sum it.
Gotcha.
Okay, wait a minute.
So it's a Casimir sort of force.
Yeah, it's a Casimir thing. Yeah, it's a Casimir type of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, let me see. Wait a second. But the answer is where the hell thing? Whenever I'm trying to find it. Oh yeah, here it is. It's equation 4.8. Ah, there we go. 4.8. See.
Put that up, Jeremy.
4.8. 4.8. That it's negative. Let's see.
Just a little closer.
That's the energy density. It's minus.
Gotcha.
See, it's a minus sign.
Yeah, there you go. So it says.
Okay, so now that would be anti-gravity, when stuck in the numbers, especially that doesn't have my S field. See, the S field will make it bigger, a lot bigger. So what I'm thinking of, a metamaterial, these little loops, and somehow now there may be other. I just looked at the spin zero. He has other things. I haven't had time. I'll probably take the book with me to England. There may be other ways of doing it too. This is just the simplest case. If I can make a Froelich condensate that spins zero, scalar field inside the loop, like a current inside the loop. Okay, that it's that loop, and the field of what the field. Just look at the loop of a charged ring. What about like a charged one-dimensional ring? With the electric field going out. So there'd be like so the main effect, it'll be like a dipole of some kind, right? But you have a bunch of loops. There's like a pattern.
Yeah.
Pixels. Just like on a screen, just like on a computer screen. All these little loops. So you'll just have like generally like a field perpendicular. The resultant field should be like perpendicular to the plane, and it will be anti-gravity, which is like what Larry Lemke says. I don't know if they actually see they're doing. Larry's working with Gary Nolan, and they're getting all these retrieved materials. So I wonder if you could do this. When they actually have it, or he was reading reports, but this might explain that. You see.
So to get a one-dimensional wire like that, I wonder if you could make an array.
They're called nano. They have them. They're quantum wires. Quantum dots are zero-dimensional, and they have the quantum wires are one-dimensional systems. And you make it into a loop, and then you have quantum wells are two-dimensional, right?
Right, I'm familiar. So to make an array of these, all nice and spherical, it might be interesting to make an array of topological insulator nanoparticles on a normal metal surface, so that the back end of the topological insulator is just.
I don't know. I don't want to go all. The only idea right now, I have just a thin, like like aluminum, very thin aluminum, like graphene sort of thing. Graphene. That's
well, the topological protection just makes a wire effect around the edge of the topological insulator.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. Right now, I wasn't thinking in terms of anions of topological protection, but that may very well be. So it operates at room temperature, sure. But the thing is this: that that may come in. But right now, I'm just looking at the that the what's called the renormalized stress energy density, where they sum over all the modes of the field, there's discrete modes in just a circle, periodic boundary conditions. They sum it all up, all infinite number of them, and it's finite, and it's minus 1/6/L squared. Well, you have to put in the right units, but it's a negative energy density.
Well, if you want a scalar-like thing on these particles, you could a topological insulator. If you bring an electrostatic charge near a topological insulator surface, the charge image looks like a magnetic monopole on the surface.
Okay, but I don't need any of that. I'm not talking about. That's a different thing. That may be important. I'm not saying that important. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking it's a lot easier. You're making it too complicated. I'm just saying you just have a little loop, a little wire loop, closed loop, and somehow the material has to support this spin zero quasi particles.
Well, why not the substrate below the loop, so that the loop is simply exposed to this field?
Well, that's not the way it works. That's not what the math.
Okay.
Well,
so it's on the actual loop.
They're solving the problem of periodic boundary conditions of a field, of a scalar field in a closed loop.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. And what that means, a quantum wire has to, the Broglie wavelength is bigger than the actual physical size. The loop itself has finite diameter, but it's that the Broglie wavelength, is too big or something like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, it's nanotechnology. This is all in any nano book. So that's something, but so what we need is a good nanotechnology department laboratory, and they're expensive. You guys don't have that.
I know some guys.
Yeah, well, see if they. So so get this book, Birrell and P.W. Davies. He's a good writer. So this book, I should probably take this book with me. I guess I'll pack it. I'll take this book.
Sure.
With me. I don't want to travel too heavy. All right, so that's it. Anything else? We should
for now, I think we're probably good. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, we're all exhausted.
Yeah, thanks, Jack.
Yeah.
By the way,
man.
did you ever read the Platonic dialogues of Socrates?
Not yet.
You should. You should read the Plato, because this is just. I'm sort of like Socrates with you guys. And they would have these parties and drink all night. Socrates was like 80 years old, and he was still awake while they were all falling asleep. So these are the modern day Socratic dialogues.
I'm completely pre-Socratic, Jack.
Yeah, pre-Socratic. All right. Okay. All right. Do you get people watching this? What kind of an audience do you have? You don't have an audience like you don't have the same kind of audience that Danny Jones has.
No, I hooked you up with Danny because I knew I wanted to get more people to see it. But yeah.
So how many people watch this thing?
There's about 200 watching live throughout consistently for the last 2 hours.
Oh, really? That many?
And we'll probably get about 10,000 playbacks, maybe more now, because you were just on Danny's show, so there'll be more people.
All right, so what you got to do, we got to publicize that we did this and put it on Danny's website there so people know. I'll put it on Twitter.
There's a couple clips. There was some good stuff tonight, man. I'm gonna have them clip it up.
Good stuff. I mean, especially the challenge to Eric, to Joe Rogan, Eric Weinstein, Sam Altman, who's the other one?
Yeah, get some people that
Rogan probably won't have you on now that you've insulted.
I would be fascinated to see.
They're afraid to debate this stuff.
To make Jack's schmuck list.
Right, to make Jack's schmuck list. Don't fuck with the Sarfatti. That comedy, that Jewish guy, what's his, the guy, that comic from Israel who makes these stupid movies, but he's actually pretty funny. I forget his name.
That's going to be great. Chupacabra does edits, by the way, on Twitter, so he's going to
what? Say that what?
The guy on in the chat, I think, right?
One of the guys in the chat who's watching, he does a lot of these clips that get a lot of views, these short clips, and he said he said that this was at one point a while back. He said it was probably the best 2 minutes in UFO podcast history.
All right, well, let him do something with it. Yeah, you know what? He's probably right. because all these guys, they're all schmucks. I mean, seriously, they mean well. So they don't know anything. I mean, does Chris Mellon doesn't know anything in terms of the physics. I'm talking about the science.
That's right. The government,
Elizondo
government at the end of the day is going to
Corbell
physicists.
doesn't know anything. George, none of these guys know a goddamn thing. Muckraker, whatever his name is, Kaus or what?
Hey, Jack, you recognize this book?
What is it? No. What? Who wrote? Oh, is it Gam? No.
It's not as well known author. It's very tough reading, but this is.
Oh, he's Russian. Russian from Russia.
Yeah, this is it explains partial differential relations basically are an extension of partial differential equations applied to nonlinear systems specifically.
Oh yeah,
so
okay,
it's very powerful methods for nonlinear systems.
Okay, do me a favor and send me the link, and I may get the book. Is it on Kindle, by the way? Can you get a Kindle version?
It's a very tough read. I think that the fifth word is literally what's it? Yeah,
well, I won't have time.
The fifth word is vibration.
It's what?
Is like hop vibration.
Oh yeah. No, I won't have time to read it. But it's good to know.
It's pretty heavy.
No, that's important stuff. And if we had a team, you need math guys who really know that stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking for someone to tutor me on this. I do know one guy, but I don't know if he has the time.
Yeah,
hopefully,
because
I'm going for a hike with him later. So
because general relativity, all this stuff will involve high nonlinearities. Feedback. Control.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Big Gear was looking at that. Einstein was looking at that. Yeah. And it's still probably quite useful to figuring out the full system.
I won't have time, but we need we need other people. I can't do everything.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys.
I'll dig into it.
I'm gonna quit. Right.
Have a good night.
Jack.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Send me the link. Send me the link. Okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Thank you all, guys. We're gonna end it here, and great show tonight. Take care. Have a great night, everyone.
Yeah, see everyone in the after party if anyone wants to hang around.
Here's the link. There's the link. See you later. Have a good night, everyone.
Good night.